YouTube, what's happening? It's Big Dirty back here with another video reaction for you. This one is Jefferies taking an MD sufferer to see a prostitute. Now, this video is 25 minutes long. So what I did was I split it into two parts because I figured most people don't want to watch a half-hour video, especially to a new channel, not sure what you're gonna like and what you're not gonna like. So here's part one, and then I'll do an outro leading to part two, and I'll make sure I link it in the video for you. But for now, if you have been watching my videos, if you're enjoying it, just subscribe to the channel. Make sure you have the notifications on so that you are notified when I do upload a new video. And then, as always, leave a like on the video and make sure you leave down in the comments what you want to see next. I've had a lot of interaction so far. You guys have been giving me great suggestions. I'm truly happy with this experience I've had so far, and just want to keep rolling. So let's get on into it. There you go.
How many more do you reckon there's behind there? There's a dwarf behind there mixing me a cocktail.
A dwarf?
I am fucking drunk now. All right. I'm going to tell you a story. This story is very long. The first 3 minutes of this story are very depressing.
Uh-oh.
Just hitching up my pants. First 3 minutes of this story are very depressing, but there is a moment where this story takes flight. And you have to hang in there with me until this moment and trust me that the story is going to get good.
I trust you.
I grew up at number 3 Turramurra Street. At number 5 was my two best childhood friends, Andrew and Daniel Connor. Daniel was born with a disease called muscular dystrophy. If you don't know what muscular dystrophy is, it's a horrible disease that wastes away at your muscles. It's the same as Lou Gehrig's disease or motor neurone disease, except you're born with it.
Damn.
You get diagnosed when you're about 6 years old, when you're not walking right, and they put you on crutches. By the time you're 10, you're in a wheelchair. By the time you're 20, you're in a completely vegetated state.
Wow.
Most people die before their 25th birthday. Dan's lived to be 33 years old, still alive and kicking. Let me rephrase that. Still alive.
Come on.
He's actually died 7 times in his life and been resuscitated 7. And I once asked him, I said, Dan, what happens after you die? And he said, nothing. So good luck with your religion and your faith.
Oh,
I'll
man.
take an actual statistic.
Nothing.
His family had since moved to Melbourne. I had moved to Great Britain. I went to do the Melbourne Comedy Festival. This is about a year ago. I hadn't seen him in all that time. His brother Andrew came to see my show, and then Andrew took me to see Dan. And I went in to see him, and I'd never seen anyone live this long with this disease, and he's laying on a bed. His eyelids are a muscle that he can't keep open anymore, and he's just squinting through these little things. And he has a breathing mask on him to keep his lungs working because the lungs are a muscle that he can't keep pumping. He has a heart monitoring machine in case he flatlines in the middle of the night and someone has to resuscitate him.
Jeez.
As soon as I walked in and saw this guy that I used to run around with as a child, I burst into tears. There's nothing worse you can give anyone in this world than pity, you know? I went in the corridor, I felt like a right prick, and I was fucking wiping my eyes off. And I went back in, and I sat with Dan. His brother Andrew went off to work, and me and Dan chatted for a while. 20 minutes into the conversation, Dan says to me, Jim, I'm 32 years old. I've never been with a woman. Will you take me to a prostitute? And that's where the story picks up, ladies and gentlemen. Because I went, fuck yeah!
That's it, man.
Don't tell my brother, he wouldn't understand. I said, that's where you're wrong. I have known your brother my entire life. Trust me, he will understand. And against Dan's will, when Andrew came home from work, I pulled Andrew aside and said, Andrew, look, here's the deal. Dan's asked me to take him to a prostitute. I'm going to do it whether you like it or not, but I think as his brother, you should come along and help out. And Andrew went, we're not doing it. And I went, why? And he went, it'll kill him. And I went, He's gonna die soon anyway. This is a good way for him to go. Like, sure, we'll have to answer a few questions. And he said, we're not doing it. And I said, why? And he goes, because Mum doesn't like you already. And I went, your mum's never liked me. That's why I'm the right guy to kill your brother. And he said, all right, we'll do it, but he can't have full sex. Full sex will kill him. He can only have a blowjob. And I thought that was fairly reasonable. So we went back in and saw Dan. He was where we left him. And we said,
jeez, man.
Dan, here's the deal. I know you told me not to tell your brother, but I told you, brother. Me and him are both going to take you to the knock shop tomorrow, mate. But you can't have full sex.
The knock shop?
You can only have a blowjob. And Dan went, I want full sex. And his brother Andrew went, Dan, you're in no position to argue with anyone ever. Then Dan reluctantly agreed. Now, prostitution in Australia is legal. So I spent the rest of the afternoon going through the phone book trying to find a brothel with wheelchair access. Best afternoon ever! Eventually I found one, the biggest brothel in the Southern Hemisphere, the Daily Planet, or as the Australians call it, 4 floors of whores. It's a 24-hour brothel because Australia's a go-ahead country. So we decided we were going to go early in the morning, like real early, like 6 a.m. We wanted to go when the place was quiet and we weren't going to cause a scene. So we wake him up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's hard to tell if he's awake. And
So messed up.
we get him in his chair. Now, he hasn't got your bog standard fucking wheelchair. He's got one of those big sort of silver-looking things with the truck tires on it. I think the model's called a Hawking. And
yo, this dude is
even
nuts.
though his muscles don't work, they get sore. So this thing can move him from side to side and back to front and even into a full bed. So we get him in the chair, then we order a taxi. And then it's not like you have black cabs out there. It's like a normal car, but they've modified the back to go higher. And they drive him up through the boot and they strap him in there. And he sits up high with windows all around him like a big retarded pope. Or as the Catholics would say, the Pope. And we drive off to the brothel. Now, when we get to the brothel, it takes 10 minutes to get him off the taxi. I see this as my window of opportunity. So while they're getting him off the taxi, I run into the brothel. Now, there's 2 ways that brothels work. Either the prostitutes will stand in a row in their lingerie and you just pick the one that you want. Or they'll stand around in a bar in evening gowns and high heels and you walk up to the one that you like the look of, chat to her for a bit, act like you've got some type of connection with an Eastern European woman, then take her upstairs and fuck her if you need your life to be this delusional. This is one of these situations. So while they're getting Dan out of the cab, I run into the brothel and go, everyone, quickly, gather round. I haven't got much time. And these 14 bemused hookers shuffle over and I went, look, here's the deal. I have a severely disabled friend with me. If you're not up for it, speak now or forever hold your peace.
That's right.
And one of them went, how bad is he? And I went, pretty fucking bad. And 10 of them said they wouldn't do it. And I said, well, I respect that. But can you please go and hide because I don't want him to be rejected by hookers.
All right.
And these 10 girls shuffle away in their evening gowns and their high heels with gonorrhea falling out of them. I am now left with 4 girls, the best looking one by a mile stays. Dan wheels in, looking like Jabba the Hutt, breathing like Darth Vader. 2 of the girls run away and I'm like, are you fucking kidding, you sluts? I just asked you nicely. So we're now left with 2 girls. The best looking one's there, the other one's a fucking troll. Out of respect for the ugly one, I go to Dan, I go, Dan, there's only 2 girls working today, mate. Which one do you want? And he said, the one in the green dress. Now, neither of them had a green dress.
What?
I stand up and look at Andrew and went, what the fuck is all this about? And Andrew went, oh yeah, his eyes are fucked as well.
That's a good detail to leave out.
Blind. It's not part of the condition, it's just unfortunate. So, I sat with the hooker. Now I'm going to pay for everything. Now the reason I'm going to pay for everything is simple. I told Dan and Andrew that I would pay for everything as long as I got to tell this story to hundreds of thousands of people in the future.
Jeez.
And they said, of course you can, Jim, but be respectful and change our names. Which sounds like the right thing to do now, doesn't it? Now I haven't changed their names.
It's so messed
Their
up.
names are Andrew and Daniel Connor from St Kilda, Melbourne, Australia. I would have liked to have changed their names. It is the right thing to do. But I look at it this way. Even if I changed their names and their parents started watching my comedy, they'd be like, my word, doesn't Randy and Steve sound like our kids? Didn't Jim grow up with a lot of people with muscular dystrophy?
Right? What's changing their name's gonna do?
So I sat there with a hooker and I said, how much for the half hour? And she said, $180. And I said, I'll give you $250 because I realise this is a specialty thing you're doing. And she goes, I got one question for you. And I said, shoot. And she went, is he mentally retarded? And I went,
What?
oh, yeah. That's what I do. I find mentally retarded people and take them to Prostitute. I'll be masturbating in the corner. He doesn't even know he's here. And she went, okay then, but if there's 2 of you, we'll go, no, he's not mentally retarded.
Stupid.
It's his choice to come here. There's a good chance he'll die.
Oh.
And she went, what am I meant to do with him? And I went, I don't know. I've never been a hooker.
Right?
But I'm thinking, give him a bit of a show, dance around a bit, rub your tits in his face, then suck him off. But don't sit on him or fuck him.
Wink.
Kill him. So we go up to the room, which thank God was on the first floor. And me and Andrew look at Dan like 2 proud parents watching our child go to school for the first time.
That's my boy. All right, guys, so that was part 1 of Jim Jefferies taking an MD sufferer to see a prostitute. So far, it's been great. I'm loving Jim Jefferies so far. Like I said, this is a longer video, so what I'm going to do is split it into 2 parts. I'll leave the card to the second video up here, and you guys can go ahead and click on that and check out part 2. If you're enjoying it so far, if you're enjoying the content, again, just subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and let me know in the comments what you want to see next. I'll see you over on part 2.